In this week's episode of Zankyou no Terror, Shibasaki is on the case, and he's going to be 9 and 12's greatest obstacle, and whatever it is the hell they're trying to accomplish. They're keeping that a mystery, and that's what's really keeping me intrigued about this show. They're definitely not the main characters of this week's episode. This week we got to learn a little bit more about Shibasaki and why he's so important, and why you should respect the guy so much. And what I think is most interesting about his backstory, which they barely get into at all, is that apparently he is a second-generation survivor of the Hiroshima bombings. And this essentially gives him the drive to want to stop 9 and 12, because they already know that they're the group who probably stole that plutonium. What I like about this episode as well is how at the beginning, Shibasaki is just sort of seen as like the old man from the department. A lot of the younger guys don't really appreciate him as much. But by the end of the episode, when they see that he has actually solved Sphinx's riddle and basically ridiculed them outright on camera, they sort of start to respect him a little bit, and they can see that he is kind of a badass. And I can't wait to see more of this character. He's essentially the L to Sphinx's light. And I only say that because this show definitely gives off a Death Note vibe. And that's definitely a good thing, because I love me some Death Note. 9 and 12 are not showcased too much this week, but there's a scene where 9 is hanging out on top of this roof, and he's reminded of some of the other kids who were at this weird institution with them, and they were all orphans, and they were all treated like shit. And there was this one little kid who had white hair and creepy red eyes, and he seems like he's going to be very important, and he seems like he was that one kid who was actually killed when they were trying to escape. But again, they're not getting into that at all. They're just giving us these crazy flashbacks with this really disturbing, but still somehow really awesome sounding music. And it gives the scenes a lot of distinctiveness. But then 12 comes up and they have a little bit of a spat because he's been messing with Lisa. And Lisa's another character. I'm not really sure where they're going with her. There's like a whole story arc where she's living with her obsessive mother, who just seems to want to constantly just shake her like crazy whenever she sees her. And I don't think things are going to work out too well for Lisa in the end, but that's only because of the implications from 12 this week. The coolest part about this week's episode, though, is at the end they go through the tradition where Sphinx releases a video, the police station sees it, and thanks to Shibasaki's quick thinking, he is able to figure this out, and they're able to figure out where the bomb is. And this part of the episode might be confusing because it is steeped in Japanese mythology, and it's crossed with Oedipus Rex again. But it's a nice little history lesson, and they actually get to find out where the bomb is, they disarm it, and they save the day. What's really great about this scene, though, is that 9 notices that some of the members in the bomb squad are wearing hazmat suits, so they probably already realized that their group is the one that stole the plutonium. So they know now that they're going to be playing things pretty close to the chest, and they're going to be walking on thin ice from here on in. So what's the rundown on this week's episode of Zankyou no Terror? I really liked it. I love the fact that Shibasaki was really focused on this week because he's going to be like the main opponent for 9 and 12. And I love like the whole like clash of minds. I love the fact that they're giving him riddles that he has to solve. And I also like the fact that Shibasaki has a goofy sidekick because it sort of levels him out and makes him seem a little more human. 9 and 12 were not really focused on too much this week. They did give us that small flashback about their friend who was probably killed, but who knows? They're probably going to make another return in this series. It would be a nice twist. But I'm really interested to learn a little bit more about them and why they're so important. Lisa's story, I'm still not sure where that's going, but 12 made it seem like if they get too involved with her, that it's just going to be too sad in the end. And of course, there's the whole deal with the plutonium. What type of plan do they have for that shit? Otherwise, the technical stuff this week, like the animation and the artwork, was really solid as it was in the first 2 episodes. There wasn't anything too bombastic or crazy going on, but there was a lot of great uses of color and shading and light, like the scene where Shibasaki is talking about how he hates summer, and you could see how awesome that light looked in the sun and how it was just baking Hiroshima. It looked amazing. And then you go back to the scene where they're hanging out in the park and there's all the dark leaves covering everything. It just... everything really pops in this week's episode, and everything just looks really clean and awesome. And I've said it before, but the intro is really good. It's very atmospheric, it just sucks you right in, and it has a lot of great imagery. This is a really just A+ series right here. I want to know what's going to happen next. Watching this series on a weekly basis is almost like torture, because they're not giving any information to the viewer outright. They're allowing us to just slowly absorb this in. So Great episode right here, a little slow-paced, but if you're following the series, definitely check it out to get to see how awesome Shibasaki really is. 8 out of 10 from me. Check it out, guys. Thank you guys for watching my review today. Before you guys leave, please tell me what you thought about this week's episode of Zankyou no Terror. And if you could, please hit that like button so you can give this video a thumbs up. It really helps us out a lot. And make sure to subscribe to the channel if you have not already. You can also check us out on Facebook and on Twitter. I'll put links for those in the description box below.
Do you like Amazon.com? I know I do. Corey and I now have an Amazon link in our video description box below. And if you go to it and buy anything through Amazon.com, it will support our channel. So bookmark that link, make it happen, and support our channel without having to do a damn thing.
Another great way you guys can help support our channel is by donating directly through our PayPal link in the description box below. We recommend $2 a month, although this is completely optional. But the best way to go about this is by sneaking into your mom's room and taking $2. This way, she won't even notice. And we won't have to shake you up for all of your lunch money. So guys, that concludes this review today. Super Kami Guru 9000. Out.